Hello everyone. So today we'll talk about decoupling capacitors. And in decoupling capacitor, primarily we'll talk about why do we connect multiple capacitors in parallel to the input pins of IC. And also we'll try to understand why do we connect a small value capacitors near to the IC pins and the large value capacitors away from the IC pins. So we'll try to understand one by one. The first reason I can tell you is that as you know, a capacitor can filter a noise at a particular frequency. So if you want to filter out a large bandwidth of noise or large spectrum of noise by connecting a capacitors in parallel of a different value, you can filter out the noise of a large spectrum. So that is one of the reason we connect different value of capacitors in parallel to the IC pins. The second reason is ESR, effective series resistance. As you know, each capacitor has its associated effective series resistance. So by connecting different capacitors in parallel will reduce your effective series resistance. So this is one advantage of connecting capacitors in parallel. The third reason being is we connect a small value capacitors near to the IC pin which are effective for filtering out the high frequency noise. That is why we connect a small value capacitors close to the IC pins. Okay, and the large value capacitors are effective for filtering out the low frequency noise. So we connect these high value capacitors away from the IC pins, and there is also a kind of a saying that they call it as a high low. So you connect this high away from the pins and low close to the IC pins. Now how do you calculate the value of this decoupling capacitor? So you can calculate the value of decapacitors using this formula where C is equal to delta I into rise time divide by twice into voltage of that IC. So delta I is the current withdrawn on that particular pin. This is the rise time you can get from the data sheets, and this is the voltage of that IC pins. So from this you can calculate the decoupling capacitors value, and also you can refer the data sheets where they will mention what is the appropriate value for decoupling capacitors or the application notes. Thank you.